Hi everybody, Miss Starling here for Starling's All-American Lamb Chops. Have you thought about dinner tonight? I know I have. Usually, it's some cow, there's some chicken, and some pig roaming around somewhere. But have you thought about lamb? Lamb's all natural, it's all great, and plus it ain't that bad for the environment like them nasty cows and them nasty pigs. Starling's All-American Lamb Chops, made right here in our farms in West Virginia. And you can't get any better grass-fed lamb than what you see in the stores. Remember, it's got to have the name Starling written on it for it to be high quality. That's right, we only ship the highest quality lamb meat all around these great United States. God bless America. I sure do love it. That's Starling's All-American Lamb Chops. It's guaranteed to make you scream for more.
Welcome to another episode of EMZT Radio. I'm Bane Hellborn with my sister,
Scorpio Girl.
We're taking over again for this week.
Well, you know, thanks to Hurricane whatever the fuck its name is.
Florence.
Oh, Hurricane Florence in the machine.
Yeah. Even though Florence has moved on from the Carolinas, everything's still flooded and people are still not at home. Because I just got an email notification from an Etsy store I visit. Mm-hmm. They're giving me a coupon, but I can't order anything until they're back home because they had to evacuate. They're in North Carolina.
How is the infamous MJ holding up?
The last I heard, he was staying at the radio station he worked at because they're the ones that have power.
Oh, wow.
But he was packing sandbags and fortifying the doors and I guess sleeping there because they kept the power on and they kept broadcasting. So I haven't heard any other word.
Okay.
American Horror Story Season 7 Cult on Netflix.
I don't know much about it. Did a little quickly read up, but yeah, it's on Netflix. Is it? Can you watch it now?
Watch it now.
Okay, so I love American Horror Story
yes.
first
we're
off
fans.
Because after every season, I always say two things: God, I hate humanity, and what the fuck did I just watch?
Oh, you're going to say that with Cult. What the fuck did I just watch?
Especially since it's taking a different turn, a more current events kind of turn.
Yeah, it was...
Don't spoil it, because if you say anything about it...
Okay.
You have this problem with, like, ruining everything. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's why I am a bane of your existence.
I mean, seriously, if you want to watch a movie or a TV show or whatnot, do not talk to Bane, because she'll be like, oh, by the way, blah, 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 and it's like, thanks.
Yeah, but who's the one sitting there going, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What are they doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Where are they going?
But, you know, I usually followed up with, don't tell me. But that's still too late. Still too late. But, yeah, I'm kind of interested from what I read up on it.
Yeah, it's
being
up.
More of a political background and current events kind of background. I'm kind of interested, but I'm kind of sick of it because, I mean, we suffered through it on Facebook, the political turn tide. So, I mean, we'll just see how the horror aspect goes. I'm sure it's going to be one of those.
It's bad.
I hate humans kind of thing.
Yes.
Because whenever politics is involved, it's like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I also received a music sampler from 13 Nails. Their upcoming album, Aces and Eights, is coming out soon, and they gave us a little sampler of that album, which we're going to feature on this episode. So that's coming up, and you can go to 13nailsband.com to find their merch, their music, and tour dates. They're going to be touring in October again, so that'll be fun. Hopefully sometime we can get them on an interview again about updates of the band.
That'd be
I
good.
think they changed drummers.
Oh, so there's recasting.
Yeah.
That should be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, us Halloween enthusiasts. Spirit Halloween finally opened up here locally.
Yay! Come on. I mean, we were getting worried. It's like, hello, it's September.
Yeah, they're sending all these coupons. I've got emails full of coupons, and there was no store here.
Yeah. But now there is. And they found a better location.
Yeah, so that means they're going to pull out the animatronics, all the new stuff.
Yeah, because it used to be the store that they are moving into temporarily used to be a Hastings, which if you don't know what a Hastings is, it's kind of like a music.
Barnes and Noble. It's like a Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, but it was more like homegrown kind of thing. You know, you could get your movie and TV paraphernalia. Merchandise. You could also get music. That's where I shopped for my comics.
Yeah, we had free comic book day there.
Oh my gosh, they had some good comics there, and of course they still did movies. Mm-hmm. You could either rent or own.
Yep.
Books. So anyways, they left us in the lurch for proper entertainment, and there was just a building sitting there. So I'm glad they did that. It was, I think, a better location as well.
Well, and also the space.
It's
so they
central.
So they can also the space so they can pull out all the animatronics that they're featuring this year.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And there'll be a video coming up soon.
Yes, because little BoomDoom has been doing Spirit Halloween tours.
Yes.
On the YouTube channel.
On the YouTube channel.
So definitely, if you want to know the face to the voice of little BoomDoom and his minis, go and check out the videos. He's very informative. He also did an unboxing video recently.
Yeah, we're into the unboxing
So
stage
you'll really
now.
get to see his personality come out. Definitely see his personality come out on that one.
Yeah.
So if you're fans of the BoomDoom, go to the YouTube.
Yes. And what else? So September is what I call October Eve.
October Eve.
October Eve.
Naturally.
It's a build-up because that's, all the Halloween stores, even Halloween City is coming out. Not here, but they're setting up. Of course.
Yeah.
But then, so all the sales are starting like now because that's it's an opening sale and
stock up on your candy, your costumes.
Yeah, the candies are out. Get it now.
Your effects makeup.
Yep, which you can get
Start
now
it now
in person.
And then once Halloween's over, go grab those extra sweet deals as well, and
up to 80% off.
Jeez, that's just awesome.
50 to 80% off.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Are we going to tell them what we're planning on going as? BoomDoom, yourself, and I?
Oh, yes. This year we decided pirates.
Pirates. Not just any pirates. Bloody pirates.
Bloody pirates.
Bloody pirates.
Yeah, so we're still doing the last minute, getting our stuff together.
Yeah.
I found an outfit for BoomDoom that needs your approval.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you need to approve through him.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? I think that was it.
Hey, if you want to support us, you can go to where for merch?
Oh, teespring.com.
Teespring.com
/EMZT.
/EMZT.
For t-shirts.
For t-shirts.
And there's also stickers. Logo stickers.
I'm telling you, I'm not a t-shirt wearer, but this design on it is pretty. Like, if you're a horror fan, you'd be like, yep, I'd wear that.
Yeah.
There's also hoodies for when it gets
hoodies
wintry.
and tank tops. So we cover everything.
Tops.
We cover everything.
Yeah, so you should definitely, show some love.
Yeah.
The whole two of you that listen to us out there. We love you, whoever you are.
Yeah.
I mean, for all we know, with some demon. And,
well, if that were the case, we'd be more popular.
I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
And we're doing part 2 to British serial killers.
Yes, we have to get on that.
Yes.
It's just hard having a day job.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Stay tuned.
Here's some music. It's EMZT Radio.
What's with kids today, huh? No respect.
EMZT Radio is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audio download and a free 30-day trial at audibletrial.com/EMZT. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Hey everyone, this is Bowmine Bob from Bowling with Bobcat. You can listen to me live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern at sfdradio.com, where I'm bringing you the best of the worst in cheap booze, talking bum wine, beers, 40s, malt liquor, and more. Always featuring the latest and greatest in the world of drinking and entertainment, along with some special guests. So come on down and take a ride with Bumwine Bob. If you can't be there live, you can always listen in the archives at bumwinebob.com. So sit back, relax, grab a drink, and enjoy. Cheers.
So, officer, were you here responding to the shooting?
Actually, I was here to drop off my dry cleaning, and I got a call about the shooting. Do you know where it is?
What, your dry cleaning or the shooting?
Watch out!
Ah, damn it. I got him.
Great. Those shots are going to attract them. Now we're going to have more of those damn things.
More reason to get to the security office now, then. At least there are cameras there.
Front door open.
Shh.
What? I don't hear anything.
Front door open.
What's that noise?
More of them?
I don't think so. Just listen.
Front door
No,
open.
still nothing.
It sounds like an automated voice.
Well, maybe someone's got their alarm on. It is a big mall.
It's coming from down there.
Oh, well, good, because we need to go the other way anyhow.
Someone might need help. We should check it out.
Okay, then you check it out. I'm going this way.
But someone might be hurt.
Hey, you said yourself that those things are going to be here pretty soon. We need to get to the security office, okay? We can check the video monitors there and call for help. At least let people know that we're here.
You go. I need to check this out.
Well, go then. But if those things are trying to get into the security office when you're done, I might not be able to let you in.
Is that a threat?
Oh, God, no, officer. I'm saying that... Okay, look. The security substation's just off the hall, about 12 stores down here on the left. I'll meet you there, okay? Bang hard on the door because it locks from the inside and I have to open it with the master key.
I'll just be a minute. Hello? Hello?
Front door open.
Hello?
Die!
Hey, wait!
You all need to leave me alone! I can't handle this!
I'm not one of them. I'm a cop.
Let go of me!
Stop fighting me.
He's dead! He's dead! There, I said it! Happy now!
I'm not going to hurt you.
Promise?
Promise.
You're still human.
Yeah.
Is it about my husband? You came to find me, right?
What? No, I heard that noise. That electronic voice.
It's the front door alarm.
Oh.
Carl was supposed to turn it off.
Do you work here?
No.
You're pretty good with that golf club.
It's a Strider club. Top of the line.
I'm sure they are. Is there anyone with you?
The nice clerk, but they ate half of him. He was going to refund me the money for the clubs for only a $20 restocking fee. But after all these creatures I've killed, I don't think they'll take the clubs back now.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't think they will, even for a restocking fee. Wait, you're a cop. Are you here to arrest me?
No, I'm here to rescue you.
Oh, okay. That's much better.
Hi, my name's Becca.
Doris. Doris with 2 R's. Doris.
Doris, do you want to come with me?
To prison?
No, I was thinking about a safe place.
I'm sure prison can be a safe place.
Maybe, but let's talk about that later. Come on.
Front door open.
There's a safe place here in the mall. A new friend of mine has the keys.
Did your friend have a big shiny key ring like this one?
Who are you? And oh God. Where did you get those keys?
The keys were in the door, and there was a hand holding them at the time. Just the hand. Nothing else.
This here is Alonzo, and my name is Clyde. There are a dozen of them things following us, so we all should probably beat feet right now.
Chronicity, a state of prolonged duration, recurrent, habitual, chronic.
A new miniseries on chronic pain and illness by your friends Matt and Phil from Semi-Intellectual Musings.
We go beyond medical diagnosis to explore the often forgotten political, social, and personal sides.
You'll hear stories from extraordinary people overcoming extraordinary challenges.
Authors, entrepreneurs, volunteers, coaches, and caregivers.
They are so much more than their diagnoses, yet each have found ways to persevere.
You'll also hear some familiar voices from the indie podcast community,
showing that art, creativity, and passion are possible while living in chronicity.
These stories and more, starting April 1st at thesim.podbean.com.
You love midnight movies, don't you? But can you handle midnight movies 24 hours a day?
Your death will be indescribable.
Find out on Black Flag TV. The first viral television on the web. Black Flag TV is entirely dedicated to haunting horror, science fiction, and cult movies. Broadcasting live, 24 hours a day, obscure independent movies and classic horror. Make Black Flag TV your sanctuary for the horror genre.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Visit us now, blackflag.tv.
You shouldn't have buried me. I'm not dead.
You are listening to EMZT Radio. Come and let your ears bleed.
Hello and welcome to another EMZT Radio Minis. This is your host, BoomDoom. I am reading the Creepypasta Look At Me. It is a real experience from a user named Theater Guy. One evening when I was in my junior year of high school, my mom and dad went out leaving me home alone. I had a lot of homework to do, so I spent the whole evening sitting at my desk in my bedroom. My parents left the house around 6 p.m. While I was doing my homework, I put my headphones on and listened to loud music. There was a big storm last night, and my desk was facing the window, so I could see the rain and the lightning outside. My parents got back around 11 p.m. When I saw their car drive up, I took off the headphones as soon as my mom opened the front door and came inside. I heard her shout my name. "What on earth happened in here?" she demanded in an angry voice. Confused, I ran downstairs. My mom was standing in the hallway with a furious look on her face. She pointed out the floor and yelled, "Was this you?" I looked down and saw the carpet covered in muddy footprints. "I have no idea how those got there," I said. "I spent my whole night at my desk doing homework." I watched as they looked on her face change from angry to confused and to fear. We both realized at the same time, someone must have been in the house. We followed the trail of footprints, trying to make sense of the whole situation. They started at the back door, which we usually left unlocked. But there were no trails of footprints leaving through the back door. All of a sudden, we heard a loud pounding noise that echoed through the house. Then the sound of the front door being wrenched open and slammed shut again. Wham! We all ran into the garage and locked the door behind us. My mom took out her cell phone and called the police. "Please come quickly," she shouted. "Someone's in our house." After what seemed like hours, a patrol car arrived with 2 police officers, a male and a female. One officer stayed with us in the garage while his partner went through the house, searching it room by room. When she came back, the female officer told us that there were no one in the house. It was safe to come back in. As we all breathing a sigh of relief, she asked, "Whose bedroom is upstairs on the left?" My parents looked at me. "It's mine," I told the officer. She asked us to follow her. As we walked through the house, we could see the trail of muddy footprints leading to the back door, through the living room, through the hallway, upstairs to my parents' bedroom, then towards my room. They stopped at my doorway. The female officer pointed at my door, which had been open the whole night, scrawled on the black marker with the following: 8:47, I see you. 8:53, you forgot to lock the back door. 8:59, you seem focused. 9:24, turn around. 9:47, look at me. 10:15, look at me. 10:37, look at me. 10:49, look at me. For more than 2 hours, someone had been standing in my doorway watching me. To this day, I still shrug to think, what could happen if I turned around?
to leave or die. You refused. Now you may have killed us all. For you have unleashed the creature that we have feared for more than 3,000 years.
Jesus is back with a vengeance.
You've seen the passion of the Christ. Now behold his fury. Framed for a crime he didn't commit and left for dead. Jesus is back.
Coming soon.
Give me some levels. Don't scream.
Top ramen. Bitch.
EMZT Radio is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/EMZT. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. For you, the listeners of EMZT Radio Podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. That's audibletrial.com/EMZT. And this is an indie horror spotlight. I'd like to talk about a new horror friend I made recently. He's a very nice man. His name is Dexter Williams. He's a screenwriter from Durham, North Carolina. He has this awesome fascination with horror and hypnotism, with his characters using hypnotism to get other people to kill. It's a real fascinating subject. He really does some research, and he has really great ideas on how to do this. He's been writing scripts for 10 years. And he loves writing to scare the shit out of people. He let me read a few of his scripts. Enslavement, which is a trilogy, but he gave me the first part of it. Well, the first script of the series, where it's about a group of goth girls who form a dangerous cult that worships a pagan goddess, and they use hypnotism and mind control to make their victims perform bloody ritual sacrifices to please their goddess and bring her into our world. And he said the first screenplay and the entire trilogy was inspired by 5 amazing female performances, with Fairuza Balk from The Craft, Kim Director in Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, Parker Posey in Blade Trinity, Sophia Bush in Stay Alive, and Dakota Fanning from Twilight Saga, The New Moon. Enslavement was very enthralling and mesmerizing, pun meant. With his showing me these scripts, it's helping me learn how to write a script myself. Because I'm a writer too, unpublished, and I always am looking for pointers on how to do things. So, Enslavement was very, very good. I couldn't get enough of it. I'm waiting for the rest of the series to see where this goes. He also let me read Mistresses of Sleep, which that's also going to be part of a series about a young lady who is plagued by recurring nightmares of death and destruction. One day she's given an unusual invitation to visit one of 3 mysterious hypnotists to unlock the secrets of those nightmares. And this script was inspired by Italian actress Monica Bellucci, after seeing her as the villainess in The Brothers Grimm. That was one of her best roles, I agree. Mistresses of Sleep is a very... This one will have to be, when it's made into a film, it's going to be very visual, because the images she dreams about are they're visceral, surreal, and very bizarre, and something that makes you go, what the hell? So that one is very good. I also read one that's for a short film called Curse of the Scorpion Ring. It's a very short script. Definitely can be a very short film. Maybe 10 minutes, if that. About a young lady who steals an ancient Egyptian ring from a local museum and pays a horrible price for it. Yeah, that was a very good script. I like that. All his scripts, well, the characters who are doing the hypnotizing, they always have some sort of an item they use to help hypnotize people. They're a lot of fun, and as I'm reading these, because I'm a writer and a horror fan, I can almost visualize these scenes. I would love to see these get filmed, especially if he can still put input on it. He should be, as he's putting these scripts up for sale, he should have like an extra option to be a consultant for the film, to give his opinion of what he would like to see. I recently was helping him with one of his script projects called Zombie Killer, about a girl who gets hypnotized into killing in the most horrific ways possible. Yeah, I helped him with this to where he said he was stuck on one part and he needed a visual aid to help him work through the part that he was stuck on. So he gave me an assignment where I did a little video trying to be the character that's doing the hypnotizing. It was very hard. It was very hard. I needed help with my sister and my little nephew BoomDoom. They gave me pointers. I guess the little video project worked and he got through it and finished it, and he even sent me a copy so I could read it and see the whole project. And I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be a short film script as well. So he's a horror screenwriter for the past 10 years. His scripts, Crystal Ball, which has been optioned. It was a quarterfinalist in the Page International Screenwriting Awards. It was also a finalist for Screenplay Festival, quarterfinalist for Story Pros Awards, semifinalist Southeastern International Film Festival, official selection of the Fright Night Film Fest, and a semifinalist for Sacramento International Film Festival. It is about a naive teen occultist who is desperate to contact her recently deceased father. One day, a gypsy who knows of the teen's predicament stops by the occult shop where our main character works at and gives her a mysterious crystal ball that could aid the teen in contacting the dead. However, when she uses the crystal ball, she unknowingly opens a gateway for releasing the otherworldly demons she must vanquish in order to save her mother and friends. That I haven't got to read. Hopefully he'll let me read it, because now that sounds really good. So Enslavement was optioned. It was an official selection of the Underground Indie Film Festival. I haven't read this one, Fear the Clowns, because I don't like scary clowns. I'm sorry. I don't like them. They make me nervous. I don't like clowns. But it was a semi-finalist, Sacramento International Film Festival. The Hypnotic Trap was the official selection of the Sacramento International Film Festival. Slave in the Spotlight was the semi-finalist for Sacramento International Film Festival. An official selection of the Underground Indie Film Festival. Mistresses of Sleep was the official selection, nominated for Best Overall Script, Best Original Concept, Best Horror from the Osaka Film Festival. Official selection of the Fright Night Film Fest, and semi-finalist of the Sacramento International Film Festival. So for Mistresses of Sleep, he would really like to see Monica Bellucci as one of the hypnotists in the script, and I think she would perfectly fit. Fear the Clowns is about a lady who visits a hypnotherapist to get to the root of her nightmares of being chased by sadistic clowns. Yeah! Of course, my fear comes from the movies. So. Slave in the Spotlight is about two best friends whose night out on the town takes a dark turn when they go to a nightclub to see an alluring hypnotist act. Ooh, that could be trouble. The Hypnotic Trap is about a teenage girl who gets hypnotized by a mysterious woman in black into staying at her mansion, where a terrible fate awaits the teen. So Dexter and I, we talk a lot of horror, and we get each other's references to all these horror movies. I really enjoy chatting with him. The most I can say is that it's a collaboration, because he's given me the idea and we're working on this character he would really like me to make into a video, like a video series. Of course, it's a character who hypnotizes to mind control her victims. I'm not going to reveal everything yet because it's still in the developmental stages. So that's in the works, definitely. And it's Dexter, he's been giving me ideas, and I also come up with ideas, and we're trying to flesh out this character and flesh out her situation to see what she'll do. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So we're still I'm also still in the developmental stages of getting her background. Of course, I go right for the outfit, what she'd be dressed as, because she's going to have a normal look to blend in, and then she's going to have her alter ego evil side to where she will show her true self. So that was what I was working on, was costumes. So he's also looking for some more people who are interested in his scripts, and I think I could pass along his email to a few people. That's all what we're about. We're trying to help everybody network and get where they need to go. So if any producers, directors, independent horror film companies are interested in this amazing, talented writer, Dexter Williams from North Carolina, who spent a weekend at the hotel he's working at. He's home now. Apparently his home. He's able to go home and sort of get back to his normal life. So if anyone from the horror filmmaking independent side is interested in contacting him, you can contact him by email at capital O, lowercase y-o-u, 78020 at hotmail.com, or send us an email at emztradio@gmail.com, and I'll pass on all his information to you. You will not be sorry. And stay tuned for more updates of my video hypnotizing character. And you are listening to EMZT Radio.
Don't mind her. She's still upset because somebody dropped a house on her sister.
Earth, America, Indiana, Hawkins. A growing patriotic community and a shining example of the American dream. Today, Hawkins is taking another step into the future with the brand new Starcourt Mall. Families, friends, and of course, teenagers can come together to shop, hang out, dine, and enjoy. With retail options for every member of the family, including The Gap, Walden Books, and Sam Goody. Starcourt Mall has it all. And don't forget, a state-of-the-art food court is just an escalator ride away, featuring America's favorite place to cool down, Scoops Ahoy Ice Cream Shop.
Ahoy!
Ahoy!
Ahoy! Starcourt Mall is one of the finest shopping facilities in America and beyond. So come on down, and remember, Starcourt Mall has it all.
Starcourt is an all-American subsidiary of Starcourt Industries and International Enterprise.
EMZT Radio. Come, let your ears bleed.
What's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
From hiddenremote.com, some of the best Scream Kings to honor this Halloween. Take a break from the endless lists of Scream Queens and embrace the kings of horror, the Scream Kings, this Halloween. Scream Queens, or final girls, are famous for their ability to remain virgins until the end and survive the big baddie in horror movies. Every popular horror franchise, minus Evil Dead and Final Destination, has a Scream Queen covered in blood and wielding a blunt instrument somewhere in there. For all its slut-shaming, the final girl trope has somehow made horror a symbol of feminism, even if the entire genre is just a message to girls that basically translates to sex is bad. It's no secret that Hollywood is run by men, but in fact, horror is the only genre where women have more screen time and dialogue than men. Some of the final girls are pretty dangerous, too. As time went on, the tougher our Scream Queens became, and we've come to a point where some no longer need to be virgins to beat the bad guy anymore. That's right, the new horror. Just as long as they don't fuck during the movie, they're fine. Now, the name of Scream Queen can be worn proudly by any woman who lives to kick butt. The Queen of Queens, Jamie Lee Curtis, is returning to the genre this October in the Halloween remake. However, let's take a moment and forget our screaming women, or just push them aside for a bit, and take a look at the men of horror. There was a time when horror movies ruled the silver screen, unlike today where they've become low-budget gore porn, and the men who played the monsters in those oldies were the biggest stars of their time. Where the women were chased, it was usually a man in a mask who chased them. However, in the past 30 years, there's been an increasing number of horror flicks where we see a final guy. As women are seen less and less as victims and more as heroes or the monsters themselves, we're starting to see a slow change of gender representation in horror. One day, a woman will be James Bond and a half-naked man will be hunted down by a female Jason Voorhees. Jaina Voorhees? Can't really picture it, but anything's possible. Here are some of the best Scream Kings, past and present. Spencer Treat Clark. It's a shame that almost no one knows who this guy is. Of course, there are some who know. They just don't know that they know. If any of those non-knowers has seen Unbreakable or Gladiator, then you've seen him as a little boy. He played Bruce Willis's son and Commodus' nephew. Now he's all grown up and apparently likes slasher flicks. Bestowed with an innocent fox-like face and baby blue eyes, he looks like the last person you'd expect to be in multiple horror movies. His presence usually brings a softer feel to the tense atmosphere of horror movies because he generally illustrates a shy, kind-hearted characters, but he's shown himself capable of playing dark just as well. In the new sequel of The Town That Dreaded Sundown, 2014, he played a serial killer and did a convincing job of it. Even though every time I look at him, I still see that little boy helping Bruce Willis lift weights 18 years ago. A true modern Scream King, he masters the dorky and quiet persona with an edge if pushed. Other horror movies featuring Clark includes The Last House on the Left, the remake, Deep Dark Canyon, The Last Exorcism Part 2, and Camp Hope. Clark will reprise his character from Unbreakable, Joseph Dunn, in M. Night Shyamalan's upcoming sequel film Glass. Evan Peters. We know that one. The only male actor in American Horror Story to appear in every season, Evan Peters is a fresh face in the massive pool of horror stars who melted the hearts of women and teenage girls everywhere when he first appeared in American Horror Story as Tate Langdon in 2011. Tate shouldn't be a fan favorite considering he's a psychopathic ghost responsible for a big chunk of the deaths in Season 1 and raped his girlfriend's mom, but who doesn't love a tortured soul with big brown eyes? Plus, he's just so cute. And he's got a great ass. After playing Tate, Peters went on to play other characters in American Horror Story, including a wrongly convicted serial killer, a golem, an angry circus performer, another ghostly killer, much more frightening than his first. Yeah, he was freaky scary. An actor, a plantation owner, and various cult leaders, including Manson, Jim Jones, and David Koresh. Wow. His many portrayals on the horror series deserve recognition from all angles. If his Season 4 character, James Patrick March, got in his own movie, it'd probably be one of the most terrifying serial killer films ever made. March's coarse accent was enough to both enthrall and chill you. He hosted the annual Halloween serial killers get-together in Hotel. That was awesome. Outside of American Horror Story, Peters appeared in another horror television series that ran for one season, Invasion, and appeared in movies, An American Crime and The Lazarus Effect. Fun fact, Evan Peters is one of the few Scream Kings that has his own queen. He's been engaged to his American Horror Story co-star Emma Roberts since 2014. Roberts was also on a show called Scream Queens that ran from 2015 to 2016. Anton Yelchin. With his pale skin, angular face, and charming presence, everything seemed better with Anton Yelchin in it. He had only been in a handful of horror movies before his passing, but they were popular enough among critics and fans alike to enhance his presence and name within the genre. With movies like Fright Night and Green Room, Yelchin easily became a favorite among horror fans, and he seemed tailored for creeping around dark rooms hunting monsters. He did not stick to just one type of horror, but spread out to both comedy and suspense. At the age of 27, an age where many actors struggle to break big, there wasn't anything Yelchin hadn't already tried. He appeared in Only Lovers Left Alive, Burying the Ex, Odd Thomas, and if you want to count psychological thrillers as horror, then Thoroughbreds can also be added to that list as well. Yelchin passed away June 19, 2016, after getting pinned underneath his car in his driveway. If he were still here, he'd be continuing to amaze us with his natural-born acting talents, and I've no doubt that there would be many more unique horror films in his future. Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki. They're not really brothers, but it would feel wrong separating them. The CW series Supernatural is where most people know them. Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles have been the monster-hunting Winchester brothers for about 14 years now, and I'm positive that in 50 years, they'll be considered two of the most beloved horror actors that ever lived. The series is the longest-running American live-action fantasy television show and has achieved a cult-level fan base. Duh! And I'm one of them! Though the series had more horror undertones in its earlier seasons, it still has enough ghouls and goblins to be watched on Halloween, and its meta-humor makes it all the more great. Supernatural is a great series, but if Sam and Dean Winchester was the only horror role that these two had done, then I wouldn't have bothered including them. Though Padalecki has taken up more residence in the genre than his on-screen brother, both have starred in their fair share of horror films. The remakes of House of Wax and Friday the 13th both starred Padalecki, and he also had a supporting role in Cry Wolf and a cameo in 2007's House of Fears. Leading man Ackles tended to play the simple, handsome guy in his earlier days and avoided gore, but he still ended up playing the villain in My Bloody Valentine and starred in 2005's Devour, where he was a demon prince. Spoiler alert. Lance Henriksen. This man was born to scare people. His eyes are intense, his face meatless, and with a simple mask he could easily pass as Slender Man. Yeah, he sure could. Forget the villain sitting in the dark detailing his master plan. Henriksen is the man who shares nothing and strikes fear with one look. Making a career out of playing both clean-cut heroes and masterful psychopaths, he even made the good guys look a little bad, or at least on the edge about something. This understated actor never broke into blockbuster fame, though he appeared in some of the most popular films of the 80s and 90s. His ability to go through pages of dialogue with just a few facial expressions made him one of the most versatile and rare actors of his generation. His first breakthrough was in James Cameron's Aliens, and he was actually Cameron's first choice as the title character in The Terminator, before Arnold Schwarzenegger got the role. No doubt if he had been casted, the Terminator franchise would have been much more frightening than exciting. And once upon a time, somebody had wrote a script kind of making fun of Lance Henriksen he was talking about how his Terminator would have been way different from Schwarzenegger's. That was a good script. And nothing ever came about it because the guy wanted Lance Henriksen to be in it, and I don't think he ever got a yes. My favorite performance of his is Jesse from Near Dark, one of the greatest vampire films ever made and one of the most criminally ignored ones. Near Dark is the anti-Twilight, so if you hated Bella Swan or Edward Cullen, then watch it. Pumpkinhead, The Pit and the Pendulum, Dead Man, When a Stranger Calls, Abominable, Cyrus, Mind of a Serial Killer. It's in the Blood, Scream 3, Mansion of the Doomed, and Damien the Omen 2 are just some of the other horror movies he's been in, and they don't even scratch the surface. Bruce Campbell. In a time when every horror movie had virgin heroines and handsome leading men, Bruce Campbell paved the way for gory comedies, groovy heroes, and the rare final guy. It's unusual to see a character laughing in a horror movie who isn't the villain, but Ash laughed plenty, and I would have given all the money I had in my Freddy Krueger piggy bank to see the Dream Demon fight Ash Williams. The jokes would be non-stop. I would have given all the money I had in my Freddy Krueger piggy bank to see the Dream Demon fight Ash Williams. The jokes would be non-stop. Where some actors would grow bitter, Bruce Campbell seemed to have no problem being pigeonholed as a horror B-movie actor. He feels no shame being associated with the Evil Dead franchise and generally loves playing Ash. 1981's Evil Dead went against the usual horror cliches by having a male character be the last one standing. The film tried being serious but ended up coming off as campy, and the sequels went with it. Every sequel after it dove further into humor and irony, and Campbell was no different. He happily became the face of the franchise and managed to survive until the very end of the series. He's like Neve Campbell that way. Campbell played Ash in Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Ash vs. the Evil Dead series, and as a cameo in the remake Evil Dead. He was also in Maniac Cop, Intruder, The Dead Next Door, Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat, Waxwork 2, Lost in Time, and From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money. Anthony Perkins. "We all go a little mad sometimes" is one of my favorite movie lines delivered by an iconic scream king. Anthony Perkins would forever be known as Norman Bates, the role that typecasted him as a murderer and labeled him a horror icon. He ended up playing Bates a total of 4 times in each of the Psycho sequels, one of which he got to co-write. Up until his dying day and years after that, he'd be Norman Bates. He was even diagnosed with the illness that would eventually kill him in the middle of filming Psycho 6, The Beginning, 1990. Originally a comedic actor, Perkins brought a timid intensity to the iconic serial killer everyone knows to this day. At first, he loved making Psycho, 1960, because it was a thriller that you could laugh at. He said that people were laughing hysterically when they saw it in theaters. Their reaction prompted him to return for the sequel, and that was the beginning of his push into horror and the start of his dislike for the Psycho franchise. No matter how many times he tried reverting himself away from the genre, his roles always ended up circling back to killers, but no matter who or what he played, he always brought his all to each performance. He was in Daughter of Darkness, 1990, Destroyer, 1988, Lucky Stiff, 1988, I'm Dangerous Tonight, 1990, Edge of Sanity, 1989. Doug Bradley. Most known for the terrifying Hell Priest, Pinhead, from the Hellraiser films, actor Doug Bradley hasn't received much popularity outside of the famous villain that he portrayed a staggering number of 8 times. Pinhead is definitely his most famous role, a role that made a lot of people scared of him, but he's more than just a pinhead in leather. In fact, without Bradley's influence, Pinhead might have been very different. The first Hellraiser movie is based on the horror novella The Hellbound Heart by horror novelist Clive Barker, but the earliest incarnation of Pinhead appeared in Hunters in the Snow, a 1973 play directed by Barker with Doug Bradley in a role as an undead inquisitor and torturer. Bradley and Barker have been friends since the 70s, having met in secondary school and collaborated on multiple projects together. Though Bradley did not write the character, he was there when Barker thought of Pinhead and most likely served as some sort of inspiration for the character. In some of the films, he was credited as assistant makeup artist named Bill Bradley. Bradley is additionally known for his role in another Clive Barker adaptation, Nightbreed, Pumpkinhead, Ashes to Ashes, Exorcismus, Wrong Turn 5, Bloodlines, Scream Park, and The Reverend. Robert Englund. Known for playing Freddy Krueger, the amusing dream demon that is as evil as he is ridiculous, that Englund totally engulfed himself in. He played Freddy a total of 10 times. 10! Made up from a cameo appearance on The Simpsons where he voiced Freddy. 7 Nightmare on Elm Street movies, a crossover movie with Jason Voorhees called Freddy vs. Jason, and a horror series called Freddy's Nightmares that ran from 1988 to 1990. Jackie Earle Haley replaced him in the 2010 remake. Though I thought Haley did a pretty good job making the role more sinister, it wasn't the same without Englund. That's true. The success of A Nightmare on Elm Street made Englund the first horror actor movie star since Christopher Lee, and a must-have for wacky horror movies. But he doesn't seem to mind. In fact, he seems to love it. He knows where his fans come from, and he loves the character Wes Craven created. He signs memorabilia as Freddy and continues pitching future potential nightmare movies. If we forgot that he played Freddy for a minute, we'd see that he's more than a guy capable of laughing maniacally while he slices teenagers. His range of acting in the nightmare movies alone shows how charming he could be on screen if given the chance. Phantom of the Opera 1989, The Mangler, Urban Legends, Python, Wishmaster, 2001 Maniacs, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, Incubus, Fear Clinic, and Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer are some of Englund's horror movies. He He even had a cameo on Supernatural, Appointment in Samara. Boris Karloff. Back when monster films ruled Hollywood, Boris Karloff was the king of the silver screen. Mostly known for playing the monster in multiple Frankenstein movies and for voicing the Grinch and narrating the TV special How the Grinch Stole Christmas, for his contribution to both film and television he was awarded 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Born William Henry Pratt, a quiet, reserved Englishman who created his stage name in order to prevent any embarrassment that his family might have felt about him becoming an actor. In the first years of his career, he struggled to make a living and work odd jobs on the side to make ends meet. His first role was an extra in a crowd in a lost film made by Frank Borzage, for which he was paid a whopping $5. Karloff had already made 80 movies before getting cast in Frankenstein in a performance that would be listed in Empire magazine as the 6th greatest horror movie character of all time, and that pretty much ended his money troubles. As the monster, he came off both sympathetic and terrifying, something audiences weren't used to seeing in monster characters, and it made him a global sensation. He played the monster in Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, and then in an iconic twist, later appeared as Dr. Frankenstein in Frankenstein 1970. And the stop-motion animated musical Mad Monster Party, that's 1967. Besides for the main duo in Mary Shelley's novel, Karloff also embodied the other wide-known horror icons such as Imhotep, a.k.a. the Mummy, in The Mummy, 1932, as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He starred alongside fellow Scream King Bela Lugosi in multiple movies, including The Body Snatcher, 1945, and The Black Cat. Christopher Lee. Anyone who saw The Wicker Man, 1973, knows Christopher Lee doesn't need vampire fangs to be scary. Standing at a towering 6'5" with a voice to compete with Morgan Freeman's and a smile that could have struck fear in the devil, it's easy to believe that Lee was who people pictured when they imagined a villain for many years. The last horror icon in the mode of Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, and Lon Chaney Jr., Lee served as a major influence for the shift in horror that brought in more gore and gothic atmospheres. With 278 films and TV credits, Lee was no doubt one of the greatest actors in his generation, or of any generation, and had a life just incredible off-screen as his presence looked on-screen. Lee's first big horror movie was The Curse of Frankenstein, considered the first real gory horror film. Following in the footsteps of Boris Karloff, he played the monster alongside another major horror actor, Peter Cushing. The movie resulted in Lee and Cushing striking up a strong friendship, and the two would end up working together in over 20 films. Lee and the original monster Karloff also worked together more than once in both Corridors of Blood and in the episode At Night, All Cats Are Grey, from the TV series Colonel March of Scotland Yard. His intimidating on-screen presence and portrayal of Frankenstein's monster led to the role that made him famous, Count Dracula, in the 1957 British film Dracula. A sharp contrast from Dracula's who preceded him, Lee's performance made him a massive star, and he returned to play the character 11 more times. When he wasn't drinking blood, he was a slave trader, a crazed king, a demented professor, or just an average murderer. Appearing in The Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll, Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, The Devil Rides Out, Horror Express, Sleepy Hollow, and multiple other Burton films, The City of the Dead, The Hounds of Baskervilles, and of course, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Lon Chaney. The patron saint of horror and the man of 1,000 faces, Leonidas Chaney was born to deaf parents and used pantomime as a way to communicate with them. In 1902, he became a stage actor and traveled with popular vaudeville and theater acts. From his years working with the theater, Chaney learned the secrets of the best makeup men in the world and experimented on himself to create many different faces, a skill that greatly benefited him during competitive casting sessions. After being told by a studio executive that he'd never be worth more than $100 a week, Chaney gradually rose higher on the ladder until he landed his first iconic horror role. Chaney played the tortured Quasimodo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, in a role that he fought tooth and nail for. Chaney wanted nothing more than to play the bell ringer and purchase the rights to Victor Hugo's novel himself. Years later, when the movie was made by Universal, Chaney did all he could to make it his own, and it paid off in the end. The film influenced the casting of Chaney as another sympathetic character cursed with disfigurement, Eric the Phantom, in The Phantom of the Opera, 1925. Both roles were nothing like anything anyone had ever seen before, and studios were inspired to step up their game with more character roles in monster movies. Unfortunately, most of Lon Chaney's horror movies are lost and can't be seen. His surviving ones include The Unknown and The Monster. Lon Chaney Jr. Creighton Tull Chaney, known as Lon Chaney Jr. to the public, was the son of the Man of 1,000 Faces, and followed his father's footsteps into horror. Chaney Sr. is more famous, but his son dove deeper into horror and contributed more to 1940s Hollywood when horror movies were cash cows. Chaney's life was haunted by alcoholism and the shadow of his more successful father, making his casting of the devastating Wolfman all the more appropriate. With the insistence of Universal, he started going by the name Lon Chaney Jr., so people would be more inclined to see his films. Once he changed his name, he started getting work in horror movies, his first being A Scream in the Night, 1935. In 1941, he played the title character in The Wolfman and would return to play him in 4 additional films. After The Wolfman, Chaney proved as profited for Universal as his father, and he branched out. He was given the role of Frankenstein's monster in The Ghost of Frankenstein, 1942, and the Mummy in The Mummy's Tomb, 1942, then Dracula in Son of Dracula, 1943. Chaney Jr. is the only actor in history to have ever played all of the Universal's 4 main monsters: the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, and Count Dracula. He worked with fellow Scream Kings Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, and Vincent Price more than once. Some of his other movies include The Mummy's Ghost, 1944, The Haunted Palace, 1963, Witchcraft, 1964, Dracula vs. Frankenstein, 1971, where he plays someone other than a famous monster, and Dr. Terror's Gallery of Horrors, 1967. Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi lived and breathed the monster world, but not by choice. Some might say he was the original Edward Cullen, getting groupies to swoon over him and start a new age of vampire obsession. Most likely the very first of the major horror stars of the talkie era. Bela Lugosi was a renowned actor not just in horror, but in the entire film industry. After exploding on the screen, he was given many great roles in short amount of time, but then pushed into supporting and B roles as the years went by, casted only for his name recognition. By the end, he was living in poverty with a heroin addiction that was developed from the opiates he had regularly used to treat his chronic back pain from fighting in World War I. Born in the Kingdom of Hungary, now present-day Romania, Bela Ferenc Deso Blasco was born to be an actor. He ran away from home at the age of 11 and joined the theater, making his official stage debut in 1901. In 1927, he landed the lead role in Broadway production of Bram Stoker's Dracula, which would influence Universal to give him the starring role in their own 1931 Stoker adaptation. His dark features and natural Hungarian accent hypnotized moviegoers. He gave off an aura of sophistication while playing his monsters with the slighted edge of insanity. His accent made him perfect for movies in an Eastern European setting. Unfortunately, that same advantage became his demise because if you ever noticed, leading men in the old films never had an accent outside of an American one. Lugosi was doomed to play villains. He only played Dracula twice, but did play more vampires in Mark of a Vampire 1935 and Return of the Vampire 1943. He received critical acclaim for his performance as the unhinged Igor in Son of Frankenstein 1939, which then started off his forced partnership with Boris Karloff. They worked together in at least 5 films: The Raven, The Invisible Ray, The Body Snatcher, Black Friday, Black Cat. Lugosi was buried in California wearing his Dracula cape. He didn't request to be so, but his son and ex-wife thought it was what he would have wanted. I feel pretty confident in saying that if he could, he'd rise from the grave just to throw the thing out and give those two a long ranting lecture. Haunted by Dracula his whole life, why would he want to spend eternity wearing the man's cape? Honorable mentions: Peter Cushing, Tim Curry, Skeet Ulrich, Kevin Zegers, Sean and Aaron Ashmore, Thomas Dekker. And the top of the list is Vincent Price. The grand king of horror, Vincent Price wasn't cursed like so many of the other actors on this list because he was able to branch out into other genres. He stayed with horror because it happened to be his favorite. Appearing on stage, television, radio, and more than 100 films, he has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and has a star on the St. Louis Walk of Fame, where he's from. An art collector and consultant with a degree in art history, he lectured and wrote books on the subject, founded the Vincent Price Art Museum in California, and was also a noted gourmet cook. There was nothing the man with a voice made for terror couldn't do. Speaking of his voice, you know the sinister rap and laugh at the end of Michael Jackson's Thriller song? That's Vincent Price. Duh, I think we all know who that was. His first horror movie was alongside Boris Karloff in Tower of London, 1939. And it wasn't long after until anything macabre had his name in the credits. Especially fond of the works of Edgar Allan Poe, he starred in numerous movies based on the poet's work, including The Pit and the Pendulum, The Raven, Tales of Terrors, The Comedy of Terrors, The Mask of the Red Death, and The Tomb of Ligeia. He even dressed as Poe and read his work aloud for An Evening with Edgar Allan Poe. He was in the original House of Wax, 1953, House on Haunted Hill, 1959, and The Fly, 1958. He found work in modern horror films, working with Tim Burton in Edward Scissorhands, 1990. He wore the crown of Horror King with pride, openly accepting B-roles without complaint and having great fun playing silly and evil characters that many actors in that time would have felt was below them. If you listen to his evil laugh, you can tell he loved doing it. Who wouldn't? Long live the king. And you are listening to EMZT Radio.
Where is he? Where is he? That's a problem you're going to have to solve before it's too late. He has about 2 hours before the gas creeping into his nervous system begins to break down his body tissue, and he begins to bleed from every orifice he has. Oh, yes. There will be blood.
You are now listening to EMZT Radio. Sinister Sisters.
And this is the continuation of Sinister Sisters with Mr. UK talking about British serial killers. Okay, this next one I call romantic, which it's not, but in a sick, twisted way it's romantic because it was a husband and wife team.
Oh my
husband
God.
and wife team. But they practiced a lot on their kids, too. That's why I call it's my sick, twisted way. I think it's kind of romantic.
Okay.
In a very sick and twisted way.
Very
It has
sick
to be
and
said, Bane, in a very sick and twisted way.
Bane, you're a special one.
That's what BoomDoom said the other day.
Right?
Yeah.
You've got to go down, trust me.
So we're talking about Fred and Rosemary West.
Mm-hmm.
They had a longer reign.
20 years.
Yeah.
20 years before anybody...
And Rosemary is still in prison, but she's not talking about anything.
Well, yeah, he kind of screwed her because he ended up killing himself January 1995, waiting to be convicted of these murders
Right.
and
And then that also sort of poses the question, did he jump or was he pushed?
I think
Do you know what I mean?
I think he was stupid.
So this one,
as far as not being pushed or jumped, I think he got scared, didn't want to do the time,
Yeah, but I reckon a lot of the, it's like when you go in prison. If you've done
Oh,
something like that,
he
you're
knew.
marked out anyway. So
okay, I get
maybe
what you
some
mean.
of them said, "Hey, if you don't do it yourself, next time we see you, it's going to be worse."
Well, that's the thing, because I think he also knew he had no chance in hell of ever escaping this, because he did escape a previous sentencing when in 1961 he was accused of impregnating a 13-year-old girl who was a friend of the family.
So there we have child rape.
And so at the trial for the rape of the family friend, he escaped a jail sentence because he claimed mental illness.
Boom.
So I think I think at this point he was really thinking, there's no way I can get out of this.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, mental illness in those days, and what we're talking, 1961, 62, relatively new phase of psychiatry, psychology, sexual psychology, was it a cop-out? Of course it was.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Of course it was.
He really, he had some balls, he just...
But these
know how to
two
use
kind of
them.
remind me of kind of like the Bonnie and Clyde, if you like.
Well,
she kind of doted on him to. I mean, you've got to dote on someone to
I
kind
mean,
of
the
buy
time
into
frame,
that kind of.
the
do you know what I
time
mean?
frame too.
What,
I
20
mean,
years, you mean?
well, what, the 60s when they were doing this
Right.
stuff?
They started in the 60s.
Women,
67 to 87.
women were
roughly.
still, subservient to
Well, look
their
at the
man.
Child Act only came in the UK in 1994. So
Right.
effectively, there was no act to protect children before that point.
Right. So
So
there
you can
was.
treat them like cats, dogs, whatever.
But
it's
the British police, they really get upset over abuses to children. I notice they really do.
What country isn't?
I mean,
Come
but I
on.
mean, they really do more work and better work when it's children
but here's
involved.
the thing: there's so many. It seems like it was endemic in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and early 90s to abuse children in care. So if you didn't have a mother and a father to look after you, and somebody else that didn't, you were stuffed into care. There's a really high chance once you go into that establishment sort of, those ideas, those state sort of systems, institutionalized. You don't get out. Nobody's listening to. You're screaming into the wind, aren't you? I mean,
that's true.
I also think why she stayed as well is because he was just like her father. I mean, her father was sexually abusing her. And so he sees that, because Fred apparently said he was sexually molested by his mother. Mm-hmm. She just found someone who had similar life habits.
It was what she knew,
and that's what they thought was normal.
Because
you said it. Did you say that Fred said that one of his parental rights was
to break in his daughters?
So
And so let's rewind this a little bit. Let's get a little bit of background. Look, Gloucestershire was where these people were operating from. So
now, what kind of area is that?
Well, I mean, most people in America might have heard of Oxford. You know,
yes,
it's kind of northwest of Oxford, about sort of 100 miles, maybe 110, maybe 150 kilometres. Quite rural. Apparently, it's quite a hard town. I know someone that went to a university in Cheltenham, which is meant to be very highfalutin. You know, it's just underneath Gloucester. But she went there up to Gloucester, and she said it's a shithole. It's awful. It's a really, really horrible place. So northwest of Oxford, sort of on the border of Wales, nearly. And so 67 to 87 is a 20-year period. All young women. None of them were guys. They were all young women.
Yeah, and a lot of them were children, including most of theirs.
Well, yeah, and there seems to be this real sexual gratification via rape, bondage, torture, mutilation. I mean, you could take any one of those and vamp on it for hours, let alone 4 of them all together. I suppose you could do torture and mutilation in the same one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's pretty out there kind of ideas to think they're kind of normalised, like the normalisation of these ideas. Yeah. I mean,
well, it sounds like they enjoy keeping their victim alive to hear them scream. Right. They want to see the torment. And they were enjoying the torment because all those could last for hours and days,
probably days and weeks. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what these people enjoyed was the torment, the torture. I think they got mostly off on the their victims being so
helpless.
So helpless, but also they it sounds like they love to hear the screams. Right. They love to see the marks they put on them with any of the torture and the bondage. Just people get off on that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, what was it? 25 Cromwell Road was the name.
25 Cromwell Street.
Cromwell Street.
Yes.
Also known as the House of Horrors.
And they did it for so long there.
20 years.
And
victims were dismembered. Their bodies were buried in the cellar or in the garden of that home, of that 25.
Or under the patio. Like they buried one of their daughters under the patio.
I have some little stories about some of the victims and what they did. Yeah. I've got Anna McFell, the nanny of Fred and Raina West's children.
That's his first wife.
Right.
McFall was believed to have been murdered in 1967. She was pregnant when she died, with West believed to have been the father. Right. Her body was found in June 1994 in a shallow grave. Fred West denied murdering McFall, but he is said to have confided to a visitor after his arrest that he stabbed her following an argument. Mm-hmm. Another one we have is
his first wife.
His first wife, Raina West, is believed to have been murdered by strangulation. Rosemary wasn't charged for the murder, though, so that's...
It's kind of interesting as well how these kind of people's minds work, in as much as when they're cool and they're standing for trial, they seem to obfuscate the issue. So they'll send myriads of different sort of threads of different... This could be like this, but that... No, he said, she didn't look...
Or for the murder of the first wife, Rosemary might not have been there, so she wasn't there.
Right. So they say.
So, yeah.
Again, obfuscation. Were you, weren't you? I can't remember.
No, I wasn't there. I don't know.
And if you can't remember, then you can't say yes or no to it unless it's proved. You know what I mean? And proof is very difficult.
Yes, especially during these times.
Proof is incredibly difficult,
So, yeah. And
but I mean, just think about those 4 words again: rape, bondage, torture, mutilation. I mean, Jesus wept. I mean, that's a heavy... Any one of those, I say, on their own would be a really heavy thing to kind of have to go through.
I have another victim, Heather West, the first child born to Fred and Rosemary West. There's no evidence she was aware of the killings. First off. Sexually abused by her parents and having told friends, she suddenly went missing in 1987, with Rosemary complaining she had gone to Wales to be with a lesbian partner. The couple would joke to their other children that they would end up under the patio like Heather if they misbehaved.
Right.
This and their changing stories led the search warrants for the property, which led to their arrests.
And it was Mae West who also said to somebody that... I don't want to end up under the patio like Heather.
do you think these kind of psychosexual games start out as psychosexual, in inverted commas, games, and then just go too far, and then once you have gone too far, That is the game, if you see what I mean.
I think it was always an itch, and then the first time it happened, it's like, oh, okay, so I did enjoy it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, that they
I mean,
enjoyed.
that's my view, is that there was definitely, because something to do something like this, there definitely has always had to start with an itch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure we are all guilty of fantasizing of, murdering an ex-lover.
Well, sure.
Or, murdering someone that's fucking up your life at the moment.
Yes.
So I kind of believe that there's always this stray kind of thought, but for others, it kind of comes back more often. They're like, hey, that is...
Well, it's that filtration process, isn't it? You're able to filter out and say, I fucking hate my boss at work. I'd love to kill him or her. But you don't enact to it. It's just, like you say, it's a wild fantasy. You filter it out, boom. Oh, here's this, what I've got to do the next day. These people actually think, well, if I really don't like them, and there is a good chance I could probably get away with it, I'm going to have a go and do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Given that the police, in one of the other podcasts that we did about Dennis Nilsson, he had been known on the radar, as quite a lot of these people are. These people don't just abstractly spring up and then, oh, here they are, oh God, isn't it awful? They're known to the police.
Yes.
And this is what we're saying in the UK. Where is this intelligence that you've got all these databases and banks of intelligence saying, oh, look out for this, look out for this, look out for this, look out for that. All these people are named, but you don't do anything.
It's
you have to wait till they find 20 odd bodies or whatever.
You have to find the evidence, because somebody whispering, going, "Oh, such and such is going on." It's not. It's not reliable because it's not quite the truth.
As we said before, finding the actual evidence and acting on it is incredibly difficult.
Because I remember a documentary of one of the detectives on this that she knew Fred West had a record, but there wasn't much evidence, so he was that's why he was free to do this. So when they got the evidence of, oh shit, they're actually doing this.
I think also is that Tyler Durden quotes.
Yeah.
It's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything.
Yes.
Who's Tyler?
Durden from Fight Club.
Oh, Fight Club, the movie.
He's one of the characters that Brad Pitt plays. But I digress. But I really think that's so true, that they've lost everything, such as, even something as mundane as their care about society to be able to kill.
Well,
I think
they had no humanity.
Which leads them to be free to do anything.
It comes down to, by all these victims and what they did to them, they had absolutely no empathy for other life or humanity.
It does seem to be that empathy thing.
They have no, and that's why they got into this, because there's no empathy for preserving life, and no humanity, because this is disgusting.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not only disgusting, but it's horrific. It's it's the worst thing you could do to somebody.
Well, there's certainly people that are sort of that are underneath you, if to use a term.
Oh, right.
I mean, people again that you're conning into your scheme of things, your kind of idea of life, which is really warped and twisted, and you don't realise until it's too late. It's almost like walking into a spider's web. Yeah, you're walking into it, but what's happening? And then here comes the spider. It's got you.
It's too late,
and you can't get away.
It's far too late.
And you
You're
can't get away. Yeah.
The interesting thing, Rose murdered Fred's stepdaughter, Charmaine, and Fred committed at least 2 on his own. So does that mean they were all committed? Most of them were committed by both of them.
Yeah.
Well, with the Charmaine West murder, with Fred in prison for the theft of car tires and a vehicle tax discount. Rosemary was left to look after Charmaine and Anne Marie. The former, just 8 years old, was Fred West's stepdaughter from his previous marriage.
Right.
Oh, so it was from his first wife.
And it was a stepdaughter, though.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really his.
It was his first wife's kid. Yeah.
From another man.
From another man.
A neighbor, Tracy, is said to have found Charmaine tied to a wooden chair with her hands behind her back, with Rosemary standing with a large wooden spoon. Rosemary claimed she'd been taken by her mother, but her skeleton was found at the Midland Road property, hidden with missing bones. So she wasn't even biological to either one of them?
No.
And what a way to punish your husband who's in prison than to...
But obviously he didn't care, because it wasn't his kid, really.
I wonder if there's any money. I wonder if back then would the state be giving money for like what we call welfare?
To who?
Well, it sounds like it because
to Fred
she
and Rosemary
said
for caring
because
for
Rosemary
Charmaine,
said that the
biological?
girl was taken
Possibly.
by her mother,
Possibly.
so they assumed she was still alive, and then the funds would still come in that way because
Okay.
they're not going to follow up.
Well, it's kind of interesting that even though it's because it's a stepdaughter, like the idea that because it's a stepdaughter, it's alright, it's not mine, it's okay.
Well,
not that it's a person.
Yeah.
It's nothing because it's not a person that I associate with. It's not mine. It's not biologically mine.
Yeah, it's not. Well, yeah, not biological, not blood,
So what?
nothing.
Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
who cares?
And what?
And obviously, Fred didn't care. Wasn't his kid.
Well, it seems like another one of his victims was Shirley Robinson, who was actually someone he was having an affair with, who became pregnant. So basically, you know, some of these victims were his, you know, they were pregnant or he sexually abused them. So what do you do when you have a toy that you're done playing with?
Well, yeah, you put it back on the shelf, don't you? Or you throw it away. I mean, I'm really interested in the kind of psychosexual side to it because, you know, look, the killing is the kind of end product, and it's the answer, if you like. Something plus something equals this. That's the equal. We know that. What's going on in those other two factors? The psychosexual stuff. Where does that come from? We all have psychosexual sort of ideas, you know, whether they're good, bad, or whatever. But we don't. A lot of us, your normal, whatever that is, person doesn't act on them in the way they did.
But we do know that Rose was, for her childhood, was being raped by her father, such as Fred was first introduced at the age of 12 into sex by his mother. So they were both being... Oh, and Fred's father was raping his sister. So we do know that sexual
incest.
That was actually taught.
POE, product of environment.
Okay, I can definitely agree with you there, but as far as
opposed to
did
being
they really
born evil,
did
do you
they
see what I mean?
did they really know that they liked it, or did they like it because that's what they were taught?
If you do it once and you like it, you do it again. Whether you think it's right or wrong.
But I'm saying,
with most addictive things, this is like an addiction.
Well, the fact
but you're being raped by your parents. I don't think you really have that voice in the first place or even that thought process on, wait,
this shouldn't be happening.
That shouldn't be happening.
But be happening.
I'm sure
Or
when
is
it
this normal?
happened, for the first time, I'm sure there was a fear. I'm sure there was tears. I'm sure there was some sort of like major confusion, just blowing the holes out of their brains. But I think the more that the parents were raping them, it became more of a, oh, well, this is how it should go. This is how it is, because we do know Fred stated, it's my parental duty to break in the daughters, and he was letting uncles rape the daughters.
Normalizing something which is absolutely abnormal.
Mm-hmm. So that's where I could definitely agree with you there with product and the environment.
So that normalization process, that's like a filtration process, isn't it? So every day we see stuff out on the street and you don't act on it. Your brain filters it and you just think, oh, that was a bit no, and you carry on.
Right.
Well, normally.
Right,
normally.
Yeah, inverted commas normally.
Yeah.
But their normal isn't normal, but it's normalized for them. It's almost like a double bluff.
Right.
But then why were they so secret for 20 years? That's the thing. They know right from wrong.
Yes.
Don't you think they if they didn't think it was right or wrong, they wouldn't have been so secret?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's the normalization of morality as well, isn't it? If you haven't got if you're amoral and you don't have any morals, then you will think anything is normal. I.e., that is like you just said. He thought it was his duty. Duty is what?
Yeah, but they...
Yeah, what did he think his duty was to do that? If you're a father, do you think that is your fatherly duty? Well, he thought it was. To be a father is what you do. Yeah. You clean your kids up, you get them to school, and then you come and you rape them.
Right.
What?
Yeah. But they knew what they were doing was against the law and couldn't be caught for it. But they had to do this.
Because they were taught probably by their parents. Because also, on top of it, Rose was a prostitute before she met Fred. Yeah. And we're talking, she met Fred at 15.
Yeah.
So that was... Wait. It would have been while she was with him, because she was a prostitute,
Yeah,
and
I
two
think
of her
it-
kids
I think it was with-
are from John's.
Yeah, I think it is from when they were together.
So
as well.
he didn't care about the prostitutes. So there
Yeah.
must have been some sort of like, ooh, come home and tell me about it, and we can
Right,
fantasize
right,
about,
right.
oh, what if the story went like this? Really, you know what
Quite
I mean?
interesting
So
that none
then-
of the indiscretions that all the others got were from. He didn't suffer any of them.
Right.
He was like at the top watching all of this, like the kind of
Yeah.
this is going to happen. They're like pointing, you know, this is what you're going to do. This is. I'm just going to watch and be a part of it, but nothing going to happen to me.
And it's also sounding that why Rosemary got into this was because she was jealous, because all these women are possible rivals for Fred's attentions. So, especially this one, Shirley Robinson.
And he's such a looker as well, isn't it?
But no, you know who he reminds me of? Who's that singer?
Tom Jones.
No.
Has the hair.
He kind of has Dolby, the face.
You're not saying Thomas Dolby.
Yeah, the face. Look at the face.
That's nothing like Thomas Dolby.
The face.
Kind of. A little bit.
He looks like a kind of unreconstructed caveman. I mean, look at the brow of his eyebrows and just the way he's looking.
Well, you know what though? Rose had daddy issues.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be just like Daddy. I wonder if we could get a picture of her daddy, just like Fred.
That's a really.
I can guarantee you.
Wow.
And I wonder if we were to find a picture of his mother.
Whether, yeah.
Oh.
Well, they say that guys go for their mothers.
That's like psychology 101. I mean, that's why you have the term of daddy's little girl and
Oedipal
mama
thing,
boy.
yeah,
It's because
quite,
when puberty hits, you're starting to recognize, whoa.
Well, certainly with boys, you know, your mum is your first kind of pre-teen sort of erotic, not necessarily sexual, but awakening.
Yeah.
This is what a woman looks like. Yeah, you know.
Right. It's same kind of thing with girls.
Yeah.
You kind of like look at your dad like.
Oh, really?
About.
Wow,
for the man.
I'm not saying I went through that, but
that's
the
how girls.
Yeah.
Is get you want a guy like your dad who's strong and
Or-
resourceful
or-
and provider,
or if they have this shitty parental kind of qualities, such as her dad.
Yeah, it sounded like
you
she was
know.
looking
I mean,
for
she
her
was
dad.
being raped by her dad. She finds some guy that is being raped by his mom, and you know was okay with this. It was.
So there's a kind of a common theme between Dennis Nilsson and these two, and a host of others, isn't it? Never judge a book by its cover.
You just might be getting stabbed or strangled and buried in the fucking garden.
You think you're getting a science fiction book, but actually you're getting a macabre kind of torture tale.
Folks, you can't make this shit up either. You
But then
cannot
truth
make
is
this
stranger
shit
than
up.
fiction.
But then the funny part was, because he got caught, because they both got caught in the end, he couldn't face being judged for it.
Oh, sure.
So he killed himself.
Again.
He
No,
killed
I
himself.
really think with him, I don't think it was anything like that. I think he realized there's no getting out of this whatsoever.
But it's also, I also think it's the other thing. He doesn't want to be judged for what he did because
Totally.
he
doesn't
knows
wanna ta-
what
doesn't
society's
wanna
going to
take
say.
Responsibility.
Yeah, no responsibility for it because
You know,
this
we've
is how
talked-
he was raised, like
and
you
we've
said.
talked about this, haven't we? Sort of
Yeah.
between us, rather
Yeah.
than any podcast. We just talk about this lack of responsibility thing,
Yeah.
you know.
But
seems to be prevalent.
But that's what a lot of them who commit suicide before trial, they don't want to be judged because they know what the outcome's going to be. Well, like you said, there's no way out.
There's no
but
way out.
he doesn't want people to judge him and hear this story and hear what he's done.
But you know what? When were they caught? Was it 87?
87.
67 to 87. They were
67 to
doing
87.
stuff, so 20
Okay,
years.
I have seen accounts or in videos and things like that in TV shows of police interrogations, and you know, I'm sure, like you were probably hitting on earlier about. I'm sure there was a cop there or a lawyer or something that said, you know, it'd be a lot easier on the taxpayers' money. It'd be a lot easier for you.
Right. Yeah.
Just.
So, you know, some of these prisoners are costing 60 to 80 to £100,000 a year.
Now.
Yeah, now, you know.
And it said one of the victims was not found until 94.
Yeah, there. I'd say about 70% of the bodies they didn't find until 1920
And they're the
years
ones
later.
that they have said they have done. Given that you have to be some sort of inveterate liar
Well,
to do this kind of stuff, it begs the question: is it one? 10, maybe it was 100.
Well, the Wests were the ones that were the last one to tell the stories of what happened to these. But a lot of the abducted ones, you know, they were abducted off of bus stops. They were abducted walking, hitchhiking, or they were abducted in the park.
Oh, we
Those
didn't talk
ones-
about that, yeah.
Those ones definitely were not found until the bitter end.
And that's quite interesting because, like, parks are really open spaces. And yet...
Bus stops are open spaces.
You would think, wouldn't you? But
Okay, backtrack a little. They weren't apprehended until 92, but they stopped in 87.
Wow. So there was another 5-year
Yeah.
period before they actually apprehended.
Yeah.
And I think it was because of
25
Heather. I think what I read was they were only caught because of Heather was 17, goes
Right.
missing, and everybody's like flipping out, like, where's Heather? Where's Heather? Where's Heather?
Plus, like I said, May had once said that she didn't want to end up under the patio like her sister.
Yeah.
So also that.
So full knowledge that's already happened.
So,
anyway.
and like you said, in the 90s, that wasn't until the Child Act came
I
out.
think it was 1994 that the Child Act came in.
See?
In the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really seriously scary.
And you gotta figure, I mean, honestly, this is like human nature I'm talking about.
Right.
I know stuff about my neighbors that I'm sure they don't know that I know. So people had to have known.
Responsibility.
And didn't say a goddamn
This
thing.
whole thing in the UK as well we have as well. You know, people maybe castigate me for this, but you know, stiff upper lip or don't get involved.
Yeah.
Don't get involved. We know what's going on. Close your curtains. You know, that twitching curtains culture, what we call in England, is what you go. You see people doing. We know it's going on. We'd like to do something about it, but what if we're wrong?
Right.
We stuck our nose in, and now we're going to look like the assholes because you know we've stuck our noses into something.
Right.
You know.
Well,
What happens when you hear a kid crying every day next door to you, but it's at the same time every day? Are you getting involved in that? Or is it just that getting a kid ready for school is a crying kind of time, it's stressful, mum says something, it does it, and the kid starts crying? Or is there an underlying thing going on? I've heard that where I live, there's a child that cries every day, it's an African family, more times than not. And I said to Ellie, listen, what do you think? My friend Ellie, what do you think? And she said, getting kids to school. How old? And I said, quite young. She said, getting young kids to school is a really stressful time. They cry. They just do.
Yeah, but what about the friends who are telling you that they're in an abusive relationship? I mean,
right.
Do you say something or do you just try and be supportive? Because you know the minute you talk shit,
right,
they turn around and they get back together with the ex.
And again, like we're going on with Fred and Rosemary West, you know, it was in Gloucestershire, you know, these kind of communities kind of know each other and they know who knows what, you know, they know what kind of underwear you're wearing, where you went last night, you know. It's not like in London per se, where everybody's anonymous.
They even know about even past discretions.
So actually, it's actually quite brazen to do it in these kind of places where you know me and I know you, but I'm doing something that you might know, but I'm going to double... Again, it's like playing poker.
Yeah.
I've got more than you, haven't I? Oh, I've got much better than you, haven't I? Well, show. No, you show. No, I show. No, you show. It's that bluff thing.
Yes.
What do you think I'm doing?
Yes.
Well, I think you're doing this. Well, I'm not.
But it's also...
Prove it.
Yeah, it's very much like you said. What if they're wrong and they've just ruined somebody's life
the court
with a
case
false
went
accusation?
on for ages because the jury could not work out all the different strands of all this. Like these tentacles that went everywhere, and then you come back, we found half of them are lies, and then it goes somewhere else, and how many of those are like? They were like, Jesus Christ.
See, and they had a lot of years to practice being
hone it
very
in as well.
deceptive and manipulative with their stories and their actions and their emotions. I'm sure these people, the only emotions they ever felt was anger. Nothing else. I think the only emotion they were ever, you know, they hit the red line and that's it.
It's power and anger.
I don't think there was any kind of like happy laughy. I think it was all coerced and rehearsed.
3/4 of the psychosexual stuff is about power, isn't it? I mean, rape is about power. It's not a sexual act, it's a power act.
Right.
I have the power to do this to you whether you like it or
But
not.
I kind of disagree because, I mean, they stalk you, even if it's for 5 minutes and see you. I mean...
Yeah, but that's part of it.
You're getting objectified real early.
Well, yeah. Because they're not going to want to get to know you. What's the
But
part of that?
I
Getting to
don't-
know you is difficult.
I mean, I
It
don't...
takes longer than you
It takes
want.
longer and it's fraught with rejection.
I really
with,
see. I really don't think it's just a power thing. Like I want this power of you. I really think something like rape is more along the lines of they know that someone like you is never going to.
That is power.
be a part of someone like that.
But that's the power he was talking about.
You're taking any kind of semblance of power that they have, and you are taking it and then foisting it back on them in a different way.
But then it was also the power of life and death, because they ended up killing these people. So a lot of them, if they weren't lured, they were hired under the premise of jobs as nannies and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had enough kids, didn't they? So I mean, the nannies treated them quite well. They won't like about that.
Fred was having multiple affairs, which I'm sure Rose knew about, because I think that was part of their sadistic. Their kink was.
I totally agree with that.
You know, tell me what you did with her. Well, tell me what
I've
you did
done
with
3,
him.
You've done 5. I've done 7.
Yeah,
I've done 9 this week.
I think with this kind of relationship, it was definitely a point scoring, because I think one of them had the kink more than the other.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, even now, Rose claims her innocence. She never was involved.
Responsibility.
Yeah. But she's in prison until she dies, because Fred got away.
And, you know,
Fred got away.
Let's be honest, getting it quite cushy. I bet she's got a telly. I bet she's got a cell to herself.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it, because
so she's always on suicide watch. You know, I don't know how much it is.
Well, she knows how to work the system. I'm sure she knows how to work the system, because, who was the family? Joseph and the Fritzes.
Fritz, yeah.
The wife was claiming innocence of his
she didn't
debauchery.
know. She
but
didn't
you know
know.
what?
Yeah.
I think if you're with your husband for like 20
over 20
years,
you kind of get or do you? Do you get to know your?
I think so. I think so,
you
because
do if you're involved.
Well,
but
think
if
about
you're
it.
Not,
Think about if you were into
I mean?
something and you love this person, whatever it is, you would share with that person. Oh, hey, by the way, I like doing this.
You'd think, wouldn't you? There's a lot of people out there that don't give a flying.
Honestly,
really
as a human, how can you pitch this kind of lifestyle to someone?
Yeah.
How do you even go about pitching this lifestyle?
Well, that's what I'm saying,
However,
it's power, isn't it?
however,
that is the pitch.
her background is very similar to his.
This is what's going to happen. You're going to be involved in this, or I'll kill you.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think?
Oh, heck
not with this.
No, because she killed independently on.
No, okay, not this separate, but generally with the power structure, it's if I'm going to try and get you in on it and you don't want it, I'll say, well, listen, if you don't do it, Scorpio girl, I'll do something to you. You get scared, you acquiesce. That's too
I don't.
Or there's another spin on it that it's not really that bad.
No, I don't
it's not
think
that bad.
I don't think that they were feared with being killed, because when Fred was in prison, she independently
was doing
killed.
her own. Yeah.
She independently was spinning stories.
Yeah.
I'm sure she was independently, spying or stalking.
Yeah, but if you've led that kind of life, that's kind of normal, isn't it? That you're going to spin towels. You're not going to tell the truth.
But
you're not going to spill your guts because you're telling somebody.
Then you'll get caught.
Well, not only that, you're telling somebody your darkest secrets.
Yes.
These people are never going to tell your darkest secrets.
No,
they're going
because
to enact it for sure on powerless people. Again, the power. You're enacting something on people that don't have any power.
Well, this is what speaks to me why I think she was just into it as he is, because when it came time to face the music, look who's still alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Look who had the strength, more of the strength, to be like...
And I was going to say that right at the beginning. He seems like he didn't have any power, because you know what they say? If you have to show your power all the time and enact it, you don't have any.
Right.
A good manager doesn't have to keep on telling, I'm the manager, do this because I'm the manager. A manager just sits behind and watches things.
I kind of think she what's that saying about the student and the teacher? I think maybe you're right as far as she was a student, because of the fact that he was 28 and she was 15 when they met.
Right.
But I think she got
The
into
student
it.
always becomes the
The
teacher.
teacher. I think she outdid Fred.
Well,
and
tried
I
to
think-
impress him.
I don't think so, because she went independent. She went rogue when he was in jail.
But the story she could tell him was, well, this is what I did while you're away. He could be like, well, good job, or fuck you, what are you fucking doing? You know?
Right.
No, but I think what speaks testament to who had the real power in the family is look who's still alive, and look who...
So do you think that she had the more mental fortitude to withstand the so-called responsibility of what she's had to take, even though she hasn't said what's...
because what she's doing is she's not withstanding anything. She's saying she is innocent. She didn't do anything.
She didn't know.
She didn't know. She
It's kind of a reverse kind of behind every good man there's a better woman, isn't it? You know, behind every serial killer guy there's a female that's kind of just in the background.
Yeah, to work
seeming the cute little kitten, but actually is the tiger that can pounce at any sort of moment, which is also quite an interesting dynamic. You know?
Yeah. But his victims were all his kink, so I wonder what hers were.
Yeah,
being a prostitute,
watching his kink,
probably because they all resembled a certain kind of, didn't they? Caucasian, mid-teens to early 20s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but she's
sometimes kind of related.
So we don't know because May, her surviving daughter, is trying to get her to tell the truth, but she won't. She's just not going. She's not going to.
At this point, look at the psychological damage to May.
May and
knowing me, I don't think I'd want to. If I knew I was able to be free from them, I don't think I'd ever
want to betray certain sort of.
Well, it said
or even I would change my name in a heartbeat.
Well, May was saying that for years, Rose was writing to her, trying to get her to stay in communication until it came to a point that she couldn't take it anymore, because she was trying to get her mom to tell the truth about everything, and her mom's like, no.
And her mom was being probably manipulative, because why would she want to still keep in contact with their daughter other than for character witness? For corroborating a story. I think that there is no feeling. I mean, even to look at the pictures of their eyes, they just look so
they're
dead.
They're haunted at this point.
They don't even look haunted there. They look so like there's nothing behind those eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, it just looks like a blank space, which is probably one of their ways of manipulating. Coping.
Yeah, it doesn't really say how May is doing now. If people are like stigmatizing her for the atrocities her parents did.
Yeah, it's today's age. Of course, she's being trolled. I wouldn't doubt. I wouldn't doubt it in a heartbeat that she gets troll letters and stuff like this. Like it's just happened and not.
You know what I really find interesting?
30 years ago.
Of all the stuff that we've touched on, these things all happened where there were neighbours involved. It wasn't like a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere 5 miles from any kind of civilization.
It was on a busy
on a dirt track
residential.
500 metres. It was busy.
It was in a residential area.
Terraced housing. There's a local shop. All the gossip goes on. Have you heard about number 32? She's going to oh, we've heard about number 25. Oh, yeah, they kill people. And they abduct them and they torture them. All right. Anyway, that's 52.
Stay away from 25.
Yeah, right. Would you like the fish fingers this week, sir? You know what I mean?
Just be nice. Just shake your head and then get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, Rose is still alive, awaiting her death.
Well, this is your romantic story, Bane.
Yeah. And it sounds like they tore down the house because horror addicts might want to go visit the house.
And also, I mean, if you bought that house, would you want to live in a house where that kind of shit...
And it probably smells of death anyway.
You know what, on top of it, what likely chance in hell would a realtor have of selling that at a decent price? Because if you're a horror fan and you know what shit that went on there, you can get that place for pence.
For the listeners in the UK, a realtor is an estate agent.
Oh, yes.
An estate agent.
Estate agent.
They're an agent of estates. What a quaint little word.
Or,
obviously.
It's a quaint little village that we live in, really, in the UK.
So,
but all this strange stuff goes on.
It doesn't say if there's... it said it was turned into a pathway.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, the building's tore down, and it's just like a little pathway.
Wasn't that where they abducted people in pathways?
In the pathway.
It's like putting a park there, isn't it, with a plaque saying 20 people in this park were killed because let's build another park next to it.
So 25 Cromwell Street is still there. It's just the building is gone.
Totally.
It's a nice little park. You should visit.
Nice little park that might smell of death.
Well, this has been fun.
So, yes, it's been nice to have another person to talk about.
Thank you. No, it's a real pleasure.
Yes.
And this is, like I said to you before, this is the first podcast I've ever done. So.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you very much.
You did very well.
Oh, thank you. Yes. It's good.
You might get a taste for it?
No. Larry, let's see. I'm sure there's plenty more to be done on various sort of subjects. And it's a good way to air some views as well, isn't it?
Yes. All right. So, British serial killers. Bye. They're more twisted fucks than we are. Well, that wraps up another episode of EMZT Radio. Thank you, Scorpio Girl, for joining me again.
But of course, I had a good time.
So, September, October Eve. You gotta get Halloween in.
You weenie.
Because all those Halloween stores are opening in your town, or they're having lots of online deals, which go get them, go get them, go get them.
Yeah, don't wait till the last minute. This is a big deal.
Even though those Halloween stores will be open late on Halloween night for last minute. I know,
but
things.
The thing is you got to prepare. This is like a...
I prepare all year long.
You do.
I do.
I will agree you do.
I start November 1st.
Also, if you're in the mood of giving, go to teespring.com/EMZT. Get yourself a hoodie, a tank top, a t-shirt.
Stickers.
Also, keep an ear out for BoomDoom. Has some new minis dropping soon. Probably in the episode you just listened to.
Yes, and next week. We've got this list. It's creepypasta for kids.
There we go.
So it's still scary, but he's able to read
It's like
them.
R.L. Stine version.
Yeah, but it's still scary because he reads it first. He's like, whoa.
I mean, seriously, you guys, R.L. Stine. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe he got away with as much as he did, because that's really creepy. If I were a kid watching that stuff...
oh, yeah, and that movie's coming out in October.
Oh, yeah, the Goosebumps movie.
Goosebumps, Haunted Halloween.
A nice thing to take your little ghouls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so, also, you can still give to the victims of Hurricane Florence. They still need some stuff to get back on their feet, and they're trying to get back to their houses. Things are still flooded. Google for whatever list of charities or organizations that are helping them out. Please give if you can. American Horror Story Cult Netflix.
Yes. Binge it good. Binge it real good.
Do check out all our links on our Podbean page for our band friends, and please give to them to help give them support. Some of them have been signed to record deals.
Ooh,
so that's kind of nice.
That's very nice when that happens.
Yes, because we sponsor and support unsigned bands.
Yeah,
and I guess our little podcast helps get them those deals. Well, at least gets the name out there.
Well, I mean, stepping stones, really. I mean, got to use them. Got to network.
So show your love to those band friends of ours.
Check out Calabrese's websites. They're always having awesome, amazing deals.
Oh, yeah, theirs just ended, though.
Oh, well.
But there's going to have another one soon.
And plus, they're a band to get behind. I mean, the music's awesome. The boys are awesome.
The merch is fun.
The videos are hot.
Jeez. Ooh.
Yeah, if I could roll my R's,
Yeah.
Anyways.
So until next time, and hopefully MJ will come back. But if not, that's okay. Scorpio Girl will sit in again.
Yes.
And stay tuned for another episode of EMZT Radio.
So come and let your ears bleed.